video is about integrating intuition. This is quite a difficult topic because in many ways it's less about technique and more about convincing you that this is an important part of problem solving. Problem solving is not about bypassing intuition. Sometimes it's about slowing our intuition down. It's certainly about inserting and adopting analytical thinking, structured thinking, scientific thinking, but it's not about bypassing intuition. Albert Einstein, of course, a very analytical scientist, physicist, said there's no logical way to the discovery of these elemental laws. There's only the way of intuition, which is helped by a feeling for the order lying behind the appearance. So he still gets the sense that there is structure, there is cause and effect, there is analytics behind it, but the pathway through is intuition. Max Planck, the father of quantum physics, also said, the pure rationalist has no place here. Emphasis on pure. Of course the rationalist has a place, but the pure rationalist has no place here. He valued intuition. Now, why does intuition work? Well, because our brains have tremendous capacity that we can't always easily tap into just because we asked it to. So do this experiment for me. Try and stand on one leg. Try it right now, I bet you can do it. Now, try to think your way through balancing on one leg. Think about how your leg has to adjust, your ankle has to twist, your hip needs to sway, and think your way through balance. I bet you almost fall down. The fact is that our brain is much more powerful than we necessarily have control of, and intuition is about tapping into it. Intuition still is about the scientific method. It still is about cause and effect. It still is about how things work. But it's about often tapping into that science that we don't yet have the math for, or we don't yet have the model for, or we don't yet have the facts for. We have not yet turned that into a science that we can access. And so intuition is tapping into that science that we just aren't quite ready for. There's an excellent quote from Daniel Kahneman that I include in the book that also sort of demystifies intuition. And I'd like to read it as part of this video. We have all heard such stories of expert intuition. The chess master who walks past a street game and announces, "White mates in 3," without stopping. Or the physician who makes a complex diagnosis after a single glance at a patient. Expert intuition strikes us as magical, but it is not. Indeed, each of us performs feats of intuitive expertise many times each day. Most of us are pitch perfect in detecting anger in the first word of a telephone call, recognize as we enter a room that we were the subject of the conversation, and quickly react to subtle signs that the driver of the car in the next lane is dangerous. Our everyday intuitive abilities are no less marvelous than the striking insights of an experienced firefighter or physician, only more common. The psychology of accurate intuition involves no magic. Perhaps the best short statement of it is by the great Herbert Simon, who studied chess masters and showed that after thousands of hours of practice, they come to see the pieces on the board differently from the rest of us. You can feel Simon's impatience with the mythologizing of expert intuition when he writes, "The situation has provided a cue. This cue has given the expert access to information stored in memory, and the information provides the answer. Intuition is nothing more and nothing less than recognition." So how do we build intuition? Accessing that quote, it comes from thousands of hours of practice. In this case, thousands of hours of practice in problem solving. The more we practice problem solving with rigor, with or without a coach, the more we develop intuition, both about solutions and about the problem solving approach itself. This is about integration of problem solving, not about choice. It's not about choosing when to be intuitive and when to be a problem solver, when to adopt intuition, when to practice rigor. It's about integration and marriage between problem solving through analytical approaches and intuition. Now, we all know that the stories and our own experiences of insight coming while we're in the shower or taking a long walk or a hike, and that is allowing our brain to tap into that intuition, sometimes at unprescribed times. How do we do this in problem solving? Well, it comes from creating space for intuition. How do we allow enough oxygen, enough breathing room, enough space in our problem-solving process to allow the intuition to get tapped into, to enter into the problem-solving process? There's no one point where we necessarily have to always insert intuition. It's throughout the problem-solving process. We go back and forth between analytical and structured and intuition. We just need enough breathing room in our problem-solving processes to allow for that. And intuition is not just about the solution. So we may have intuition about cause, about problem statements, and about the solution itself. But it's also about intuition about the problem-solving process. Is this a team-based problem solving, or is this something an individual might do? Is this problem solving that requires looking beyond the process, or something that we're looking for a discrete answer? The more we practice structured problem solving, the more we also develop our intuition about problem solving itself. And that makes us better each and every time before we ever pick up any problem solving tools. Problem solving is about integrating intuition, not avoiding it, and not using it solely. That integration is where the power comes from.